am here with none other than Don Casanova.
Hello, everybody.
I'm Michael Huber, and we're about to talk about Paranormal Activity VR.
Yes.
We had the pleasure
Yes.
of heading over to a live technical demo of this just the other day, and we walked away impressed.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. First off, talking to the game's director, he said, naturally, I mean, you can see by this image that PT was a big influence, and his favorite game is The Last of Us, so clearly in the right hands. Let's just dive into it, though. So, Paranormal Activity VR, it's the mythology of Paranormal Activity. It's not based on a specific movie in the franchise, and it scared the crap out of me.
Yes.
Were you scared, Don? You know, when I saw you playing it, you never really screamed like I did.
Yeah. I didn't scream or have a reaction like that, but I was enjoying the atmosphere a lot. I mean, there were some startling things that happened. The atmosphere in general was really powerful. And yeah, it's sort of like very similar to PT in that it's a series of hallways you're navigating, where that scary stuff is happening.
Yeah.
And maybe the scare intensity level of it is not quite as frightening as PT was, but if you could imagine experiencing PT like that, it would be like almost overwhelming because it added so much to the atmosphere just looking
And
around.
PT too, definitely heavy on the puzzles.
Yeah.
Silent Hill has always had a lot of puzzles. This was more of a kind of a linear thing going through. But for the purposes of the demo, to speed it along, they took collision off.
Yeah.
So we could kind of walk through corners a little bit. We weren't able to open doors and drawers, but in the final build, you will be able to do that stuff. They estimated the length of the game is about 2.5 hours if you're going through at a brisk pace. For completionists, you know, I check every nook and cranny.
Yeah.
They said about 5 hours. So this is a full-on game. And like you were saying with the atmosphere, I just really want to drive that home, you know. We've had conversations about VR on GT here and there, and I just always go back to, which is so annoying and unfair, but it is true, that you have to experience it to believe it and to wrap your head around it.
It's hard to describe, you know, when you're going down a hallway and you're just like, it's fascinating to stop and crouch down and look at objects. You know, there's trophies and there's books, and just to rotate around them and just try to see how real it feels and to read writing or look at paintings. Even in a game, that's something that's sometimes very interesting, but there's something captivating about it when you're actually there moving your head. Yeah.
It's so I mean, Don took it to another level. I didn't even think about this. He was moving his feet in place to kind of RP it.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool idea.
When
I love that.
going down the hallway, I was just trying to kind of foresee the sense of how that'll be, you know, and in the near future when VR gets to that point.
Yeah.
And it's just like, even standing there, walking in place, and then, you know, so you move your head and then you're moving forward and backwards with the controller. But if you're actually move your entire body and then you kind of walk in place and stuff like that, it's amazing how you can just buy into the experience fully.
So we played it on the HTC.
Yeah.
And there were two sticks similar to like a PlayStation Move with, you know, like the touchpads and the trigger buttons. And you navigate the hallways. There's a lot of jump scares, things popping out, you know.
Things flying across the room.
Things flying across the room. And you get to a part in the bedroom where there's a little clown, inflatable clown thing, and you can kind of push that over. The collision was on for that one, and it kind of wobbles back and forth. And there's this tent in the bedroom, and you have to crouch down physically to go in this tent.
Scary.
And just the act of doing that in real life, of crouching down and going in this tent, is so frightening. It's so dark in there. There was a flashlight. You pick up the flashlight, and from that point on, you have this flashlight, and it is so immersive because you're aiming this in the world, and just having this object, you know, in real life, doing the movements. You know, again, crouching down, aiming with the flashlight. Translating that into the virtual world is very, very intense. It feels so real.
Yeah.
I mean, VR, man.
It's funny how a simple thing like that, you know, it can
Just
be
that
so
simple-
entertaining then, just really, you're inspecting the environment, and that alone, even without the scares, is like captivating. I missed the flashlight part. I was checking out some of the collision stuff, and then I accidentally walked through the tent, so I kind of skipped that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But you can go to the windows, look outside, you see the trees outside kind of blowing in the wind. The sound design is like pretty powerful and like helps so much with everything. You know, you're hearing things and looking around and everything. And
the movie tie-ins don't traditionally fare well. So when I heard about this, I was a little skeptical.
Yeah.
I was like, how are they going to do a paranormal VR? Is it just going to be things jumping at you? But it feels like a full-blown video game, and I'm extremely excited. I mean, it felt polished.
Yeah.
There were no bugs or anything. Again, the demo was about 15 minutes.
Yeah.
But the constant tricks that they were doing, I don't want to spoil everything.
Yeah.
But there were some cool surprises in there. Just the act of being in a hallway.
Yeah.
And looking back.
Yeah.
And looking forward is so powerful, man. There's VR
fun.
is setting the way.
I can't wait for more.
Absolutely. Let us know if you had the chance to try it. We want to hear your thoughts.
Yes.
Paranormal Activity, VR the game.